Susan, this segment here, I'm going to have you guessing of where we're going.
Oh, I love a game.
I'm going to do a couple segments here at a place.
All right.
All right, it's down 405, a little bit
right.
past 55. You get off on Bristol Avenue.
Down 405. You mean up 405?
Up 405,
No,
yes, towards
northwards.
LA.
Okay.
And that's where we're going to do some shoots here. But where do you think we're going?
Well, I think we're going to South Coast Plaza. Oh, my favorite place to shop. Oh, I love it. Did you know that South Coast Plaza is the largest mall in California, and it is the fourth largest mall in the country, and that they have hundreds and hundreds of stores and
Susan,
restaurants. They even fly people in from all different countries, from
Right,
all
they land
over the
jets at the
world.
mall.
No,
the airport's a little over from
They
that.
go to LAX, and then they bus them in, and they have interpreters there with their language. And
We're not going to that mall. No. Think that area, but we're not going to that mall.
Segerstrom. Going across the street to Segerstrom. Oh, my favorite place for theater. Oh, I've seen fabulous productions there. The Symphony Hall, South Coast Repertory Theater.
No. Okay. Think of the same area. Where do they make Frankenstein?
What?
Where do they make the monster Frankenstein? The big ooh.
Probably in a film studio.
No. The actual monster. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Oh, well, in a lab, a chemistry lab.
Correct. Lab.
We're going to a chemistry lab.
No, not really. But it's called the lab.
The lab. The
Right.
lab. I've heard of that.
Yeah. It's a very cool outside, they call it the anti-mall.
I have heard of that. Now, the anti-mall, that sounds a little bit dangerous. Do we?
No, it's
you
not
know,
dangerous.
No.
It's in a very cool neighborhood. It's
Okay.
got very cool
All
shops.
right.
Just think it's like an old hippie commune that's been commuted or made into a mall.
Ooh, do they do a little bit of, you know what?
I didn't see any of that. Now,
Okay, well, all right.
there are very unique shops there, mom and pop shops, very cool clothing stores and different types of things. The first place we have to stop at, because the crew here needs beer when they work. So we're stopping at the brewery first.
There's a big brewery there.
It's not a big one. Well, it's one of their locations.
Oh.
They're Bootleggers Brewery. They have many locations, but they have a very cool location.
Tell me, why don't I know about this brewery? I like breweries.
Because it's probably in something, if you like all the big malls, this is called the anti-mall.
I kind of like this.
Okay.
I can't wait. So they have a brewery, and they have mom and pop stores,
Yep.
unusual things to buy.
Very
for
nice,
shopping.
unusual things. Restaurants.
Mom and pop restaurants.
It's a nice footprint, like on a half block. But
I
there's
love
very
this.
cool stores in it. And then after the brewery, we're going to go to a very cool record shop where people here in the village, if you have old records, sitting around, they'll buy them. It's like if you have old Herman's records or whatever.
Well, can you listen to records when you're there?
I don't think so. Well, if you ask the owner nicely, his name is Parker.
Parker.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he named the place after one line in a Beatles song.
Oh, now this is the ultimate trivia piece.
Okay.
Okay.
It's from the White Album.
Well, I was going to say Yellow Submarine if it's an.
That's not from the White Album.
It's not. That's not from the White Album. Okay, I should know
I'm a
this
Beatle
stuff.
nut, so.
Okay, do tell.
Okay, it's from a song called Savoy Truffle.
Savoy Truffle.
Savoy Truffle. It's a song written by George Harrison. But anyway, it's Cream Tangerine. Very cool record shop, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Oh, I think they should have called the anti-mall Cream Tangerine Mall instead of the anti-mall.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
we'll
So
do
is
that.
this a huge place? Is this like Tower Records?
Huge place? No.
Tower Records?
No, it's in a little Airstream trailer.
Oh, even better.
It's just and they bring all the stuff out, and the guy's name is Parker. And I think you'll enjoy this.
I'm loving this.
Okay.
Okay, beer in a small place with. Do you get a flight of beer? Do they give you that?
Yeah, I'm sure.
And then you can go
They ask
over.
the crew. They're the ones
Okay,
drinking the
all
beer.
right,
I'm
they
not.
were drinking the beer, and then you get to go over to the Airstream trailer.
Right, and buy records.
Buy records
Or
and,
bring
and
your
talk
old
to
records.
Parker. And yeah, I'm loving this.
Okay.
Great restaurants. All right.
Stay tuned.
All right. When are we going?
Right now.
Let's do it.
Today we're beyond the gates at the Bootleggers Brewery, and we have Charlie with us.
How's it going?
Appreciate you helping out here today. Now we're in a place called the Lab, which I understand is called the Anti-Mall or
Yeah,
some
Anti-Mall.
very cool area. But here at Bootleggers Brewery, you guys have a lot of brew.
Yeah.
How many beers do you have?
Typically about 20 to 24 on
And
a
is
one
it
time.
seasonal?
Yes, we typically do have 20, 24 on tap.
Okay.
Different varieties. Yeah.
And as we can see here, where you don't make all the brew here.
No.
I mean, this is do it in Fullerton.
Yeah, a lot of it's done in Fullerton. We do small batches here, like our Helles Lager and our barley wine we've done here.
Now, I mean, just a little bit I know about making beer. Can it be automated in any way? I mean, they
Yes,
have computers.
but we still have people milling the grains, stuff like that.
How many people does it take to make a batch of beer? I mean, does it require a huge staff?
We're yes and no.
Okay, it
Yeah.
depends on the brew. And
Yeah, it
and
depends
the
on the brew. Yeah.
automation.
How much you're doing in that day.
We're here in Costa Mesa, and you've got several other locations, like we just mentioned,
Yeah,
Fullerton,
Fullerton.
and are there tasting rooms there as well?
Yeah, big old tasting room and patio.
And
Yeah.
patios like
Oh,
we
yeah.
have here, which is great. We're about 20 miles, again, outside the village, and you just come down the 405 to the 5, and where you take the toll road, and you're right here. Can people get the Bootleggers Brew and besides the locations here?
Yeah, we're in local liquor stores and then some bigger shops, Target, Albertsons, stuff like that. Yeah.
Now, but can somebody come in here and just like take a six-pack or
Yeah.
some cans
Oh yeah.
away?
Oh yeah. We've got our to-go fridge,
Sure.
and then anything on tap we can can or bottle here.
It's like a growler
A
jug?
growler, or then we have our little candy machine as well. So if you want to take a crowler, yeah.
Cool. And what hours you open?
11 to 10 every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, your motto is drink fresh, drink local.
Yes, sir.
And I have not tasted anything as good as local beer.
Okay.
When did you start making beer?
2006, the company started. Aaron and Patricia Bargenhagen.
Wow. And he's from Germany, right?
The German name,
A German name.
Bargenhagen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the more unusual ingredients in beer?
We've got raspberry, passion fruit guava, our sour sop. That it's a unique fruit that our brewer loves.
Does it take longer to make those kind of beers? I mean, beer doesn't really have to age like wine does.
No, a couple of the beers do, but they all take different amount of time to ferment.
Sure.
Yeah. Huckleberry is another one that people seem to like.
What is the most popular beer?
El Chongo and Far Out, two different on a different spectrum. They're like
Right.
El Chongo's a lighter lager, and then the Far Out's a West Coast IPA.
So if somebody wants to taste the different beers,
Yeah.
you can do like flights?
Yeah,
or
we can do
things?
flights. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much for taking the time with
Yeah,
us
no
today. And we hope to get as many people as we can from the village come down here and take some
Yeah, that'd be
great,
awesome. That'd be
great
great.
brews. Now, you call it brew or beer? Does it matter?
Beer. Well, I know, but people call it brew, like German style. Yeah.
And now let's see what Susan has to talk about today.
Well, thanks, Bill. Well, now we are in Costa Mesa still. I'm here today at the Black Bear Diner with Chris Flansburgh, who's going to fill us in on this unique restaurant. So, Chris, I am thrilled to be here. I have never been to this restaurant before. I'm eager to know more about it. Maybe you can fill us in on the Black Bear Diner.
Yes, ma'am. We love having you guys here. Black Bear Diner, this is a 25th anniversary. We started up in Mount Shasta with our first location. It's still open today. The owners, co-owners, Bruce Dean and Bob and his wife, Laura Manley, are still the owners, and they participate in operations quite a bit. In the last 25 years, we've grown to 143 locations,
Oh my gosh.
14 states. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's absolutely taken off, and it's an incredible brand. As you can see, it is bear focused, and
Yep.
the meals match that.
Yeah.
Bears are hungry, and we have a lot of massive plates that can feed a hungry bear.
Really? Well, I never would have guessed there are so many locations. When you walk in, it feels like, as I was saying, I feel like I'm driving up to Mount Shasta and on I-5, and it's seeing the beautiful trees, and it's bear country, and I feel like this is a family-owned, private, one-of-a-kind restaurant. And to hear that there's so many just is amazing, and which I'm happy to hear. So, and they're in so many states, and you're known for your generous portions.
Generous portions, very, very good comfort food,
Right.
what you would expect at a mom and pop diner.
Yeah.
Chicken fried steak, biscuits and gravy. And we try to cater to those light eaters as well, with many options on the menu that are
Okay.
lower calorie options for those who are
Okay.
trying to be fit bears.
Fit bears. Oh, that's great. So your best sellers here, let me guess, just breakfasts, or now you're open for dinner too, right?
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We do serve breakfast all day, which is nice. I know people love breakfast throughout the day. As far as the most popular dishes, we have a dish called the Grizz for the bear, and that comes with pancakes or French toast or waffle, eggs. Comes with 3 different meat styles and potatoes as well.
Whoa.
So you get a little bit of everything with that one. Chicken fried steak, again, is a very popular dish.
Yeah.
And you've seen the display of desserts as well. So.
Oh, yes, the desserts look fabulous. Homemade apple pies and different variety of pies, but all homemade.
Absolutely.
And they come in different sizes. I've never seen pies like that they're small. They're not a big pie that serves 8. A comfortable serving for 2 people.
Absolutely.
Very generous serving too.
Yeah. One hungry bear or two people sharing for sure.
Hours, you're open 7 days a week.
Absolutely,
Let
we're
me
open every day. Currently, with the state of the
COVID.
business, we're 7 through 8 p.m. And then as we open up the inside, we'll be back to 6 a.m. through 10 p.m.
But you have very comfortable seating outside in the tent.
That's correct. We
Yeah.
have the tents outside, and we can
Yes.
house
That's
many
great.
hungry bears.
Hungry bears. Have heat lamps outside.
No heat lamps. We're fire coded to not be able to have those.
Okay.
Another option that is something that people definitely take advantage of is our takeout. And
Okay.
we do offer our own personal takeout, or
Right.
we have the delivery services with Uber Eats and
Okay.
DoorDash that
I see, that was
deliver
very
that food as well.
You were very busy earlier with your takeouts. Well, the other thing I like is you have a little gift shop area, and I'm bonding to little Mr. Black Bear here. And I would love to take one of these home. They're so cute, but you have shirts, you have things that appeal to kids. You have Bigfoot bedroom slippers. What fun.
Yeah, the gift shop's a lot of fun, and
is.
the bear's on the house, so you'll be able to take one for
Oh, I love it.
For some
Thank you.
memorabilia.
Well, this is a very special this is a very special, unique place, and I'm so glad we had the opportunity to come here. I'm going to be searching out more black bear diners when I'm traveling here, there, and everywhere. So thank you so much, Chris, for this interview.
Yes,
And
ma'am. Thank you very much for your
We'll be seeing
time.
more of you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Bill, what are you up to now?
And we're beyond the gates now with Parker from Cream Tangerine, which is a great record shop.
Thank you,
and,
brother.
Cream Tangerine is obviously from a Beatles song.
That's correct.
Savoy Truffle.
Yep.
You guys are into old vinyl, but do you buy old vinyl, let's say, from people in the village would have their old vinyl?
That is my favorite part of the day, is getting the privilege to look through somebody's collection, assign it a value, and let them know what they've got and pay them fairly for it.
So you've got that sharp of an eye to see something.
I promise. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of the Beatles stuff. I mean, you could look at Beatles stuff, like you said, it could be worth $1, it could be worth thousands of dollars.
That's correct. Yes.
Now, if somebody brings in some things like that, do you actually go back and sell it again?
Yeah, that's the idea. We buy stuff and clean it all up nice for people, and then we either call somebody from our Rolodex that already wants it, or put it on the shelf.
Oh, so in other words, if somebody came into you and said, okay, I'm looking for such and such record or cassette.
Absolutely. We love hunting that stuff down.
Oh, that's cool. Now, do you have a website that people go to check it out?
Yeah, we're a little old-fashioned. We don't really do the online
Okay.
commerce too much, you know, but maybe one day.
Which, how long have you been here? This is called the Lab, which is
It'll be 10 years next week.
in the same location with this cool trailer?
Yep. Yep.
Wow. Now, if somebody came in and looking for current records, you would have that.
Well, I've got a lot of them.
Okay.
Yeah. We can only carry about 5,000 or 6,000 records at any given time here, so I don't have everything.
Now,
But we try to do as best we can.
what made you think of doing something like this in the age of digital downloads?
Complete selfishness with my time, I think.
Okay.
This is what I used to call out sick to go do, you know? So if you're going to be selfish with your time and enjoy yourself, you might as well surround yourself with dusty old records that you enjoy.
And I used to live in Austin, Texas, and I used to go to this place called Waterloo Records.
Sure.
And it was my favorite place to go. This is going to be my favorite place to come down. And okay, I've got
You're
old
always
records.
welcome.
Okay. We're not far from the village, and again, bring old cassettes. I mean, CDs. Is that a
A
rare?
little bit, yeah, a little bit of CDs. We're mostly records. Mostly
Okay.
records.
Mostly records. And do you have a personal favorite?
It changes every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Again, thanks for your time, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for stopping by.
You bet. And now let's see what Susan's up to.
Hi, Bill. Good to see you. Well, I'm in a great spot here. I'm in Costa Mesa at the Lyon Air Museum. It is a gem of a museum that not many people know about, but well worth the trip. It's right near the John Wayne Airport, just slightly north, and maybe about 20 miles from Laguna Woods. I'm happy to be here with David Malmuth, who is a docent at the Lyon Air Museum. David, can you tell us about this museum, why people come here? What is so special about this unique place?
Well, thank you for visiting. The Lyon Air Museum has been here since 2009, when General William Lyon, the founder of the museum, first opened it. His desire was to give something back to the community after his 35-year career in the U.S. Air Force, where he retired as the head of the Air Force Reserve, and moving on into his civilian life. He was a builder of homes throughout Southern California and portions of the West. The museum was an effort to communicate to the community something about aviation, particularly aviation in the military. And each of the aircraft that you see here represent planes that he either flew or commanded. And while we're a small museum, we are large in personality because of our volunteers.
I see. How many volunteers do you have?
We have 80 volunteers. 2/3 of them are either World War II, Korea, or Vietnam veterans.
Oh my God.
The majority of them were actually pilots or crew members of aircraft. So each of the planes have a story, and each of the volunteers can provide a little bit of history behind the story for those planes.
So you really bring these airplanes and history to life is what you're doing. For young students who come here, for anyone who comes here. And to know that Mr. Lyon originally flew many of these planes himself.
Yes, he did.
Well, tell me a little bit more about what else you have here in the museum. We're seeing all these fabulous old planes, but you have much more. You have some cars, some very elegant antique vintage cars. You have motorcycles. I see a bicycle over there. And you have so much more. So what's the deal with all that?
The museum is not only an aviation museum, it is a museum of history. Transportation in the United States is not just the planes, the trains, the automobiles. It's also the personality behind each one of those vehicles. The cars that you see are a cross-section of the technology of the 20th century, the early 20th century, when the car first came into its own. Many of the vehicles here that are part of the museum collection are not only forms of transportation, they are sources of art. A lot of the cars that date back to the 20s and 30s were really art on wheels. The later vehicles that we see, the sports cars, the cars that were racers in the 60s and 70s, are a reflection of the personality of Southern California, not only in the transportation world, but also in the racing world.
That's a fascinating summary of what this museum really is all about.
It's a love. It is not just a desire. Perhaps it's even a lust, but it is something that I enjoy, and to be around them, and I have the time and the availability to serve. This museum is a cathartic experience for me. It gives me something to express who I am and also to convey that information to others.
Right. Well, that is a real passion, and the visitors here are very lucky to have you and other docents like you with such rich experiences you can share with them. Now, tell me a little bit about, well, just the basics. What are your hours, and does it cost money to come here, and is it open to kids?
The museum is open 363 days a year,
Okay.
or 2 days a year it's not opened. The hours are 10 to 4, Monday through Sunday. Individuals can come in here either as families or as individuals. If they are with groups, they can bring groups in. We do events in the evenings for organizations if they want to have some sort of an event, whether it's business related or personal.
Oh.
They can contact our marketing department
Wonderful.
and speak to a representative to make arrangements for programs in the evening. If you come in here during the day, normal admission is $16 for adults,
Okay.
$10 for seniors over 60 or for veterans. Children under 5 can get in free.
All right.
And our docents, as I mentioned, are available to take you as an individual or as a group on a tour and give you detailed explanation of each of the aircraft and vehicles. In addition to that, although unfortunately not now, we have a theater where we normally run a film of either 20 to 40 minutes for individuals to get a bit of history on each of the planes and a little bit about a history of aviation.
Oh my. Well, this is a very personal, very in-depth experience in getting to know about all of these planes and history of the wars of the 20th century, as you say. A unique niche for an air museum, I would think. Can we start with the car that's behind me? It looks like it's a Duesenberg, is what the sign says. Tell me a little bit more about it. It's a beautiful vintage car. Where did it come from?
Well, it was manufactured in the United States. It's a 1929 Duesenberg Model J. And as you can see from the lines on it, it is a work of art. It just happens to be on 4 wheels. But it is a style of the 30s. And it is a reflection of perhaps the age of conspicuous consumption.
Now, I'm interested in the plane that's right behind you here, with the yellow tail and the green stripes and the star. What's the story of that plane?
The plane that's behind me is called a Boeing B-17. In the Second World War, it was nicknamed the Flying Fortress. The plane was first manufactured, not this particular plane, but the manufacturer of the model was in 1935. A little over 12,000 were made. This is one of only 11 that still remain on static display in the world, 9 of which still fly, so a little over 20 are still in the world today. The B-17 was what they call a heavy bomber. It had a 10-man crew. It had a 2,000-mile range. It could carry up to 8,000 pounds in bombs, 3,000 gallons of fuel, and it traveled not only in Europe out of England, but it also was used in the Pacific. It's probably the most well-known bomber of the Second World War.
The B-17.
B-17. It is called Fuddy Duddy. This is the name of the plane. And Fuddy Duddy was a name given by the crew. Typically in the Second World War, many bomber crews would name their plane either because of the location of the crew where they came from, perhaps some personal interest in the aircraft, something related to either their mission or their
I see.
job.
So very personalized.
Very personalized.
Now, the one on the other side, the silver one.
The plane in the front is called a B-25 Mitchell, made famous by the Doolittle raid of April 1942, when 16 aircraft flew off the aircraft carrier Hornet and attacked targets in Japan. This B-25 was used as a trainer here in the United States. It did not see any combat.
Those, do you have a favorite? Or?
In the far corner, there are two planes that are rather unique. When I talk about aircraft that have a history, in the far corner, there's a DC-3, which might be known to many people as a commercial airliner. It is painted up in American Airways colors from the 1950s. However, what's unique about that plane is it never was an airliner. General Lyon, in his civilian role, became the owner and CEO of an airline called Air Cal. Air Cal was a regional carrier back in the 1980s. And as part of his contribution back to the community, he wanted to show aircraft that were a reflection of aviation in the 50s. And so he took this plane and had it painted up to look like an airliner. This particular plane is a true veteran. It served in World War II as a troop carrier, carrying troops over the beaches of Normandy in June of 1944, over the Operation Market Garden in September of 44, which was in the Netherlands. It carried supplies during the Battle of the Bulge in December, and over Germany in April of 1945 in Operation Varsity.
What stories, each one of these, amazing.
That is probably the most famous in terms of information.
Now, any of these planes, is it possible to go into any of these planes to see the interior of them?
When we are not undergoing a COVID-limited operation, we would have what they call open cockpit day, where the planes would be opened up and visitors could actually go inside the aircraft to tour the cockpit and to tour the interior of the plane.
That would be fascinating and a pleasure learning more about it and hearing your wonderful stories, David. Thank you so much.